in. It should just be straight racing from here, not much fuel saving. So I'd expect to see Tim Moore and Drew Jua pick it up, especially after the first stop. They're probably going to go at it a lot after there.
So just setting the field, it's Tyler Glass first, Master second, Schulenberger, Ness, Mazzilli, the top five. In sixth place is Drew Jua, Miniker seventh, eighth place is the one car, that is Landon Lyle, then Buckner, England, Moore, Steinberg, Stevens, Perez, and Hudspeth. 60 laps to go. Right now, the way they run, Drew Jua would win the championship by, I believe, 8 points over Casey Masser. As they come to the line, the green flag, 60 laps to go in the VRC season. And again, a weird restart from the outside. Masser got a good one. It's second row with Ness that held back a little bit, but gets some help from Jua. Glass is going to clear to the lead. Here comes Schulenberger for second, and Masser gets a terrible run through turn two. He gets stuck 3 wide up top.
3 wide, and Luca Mazzilli, a name we haven't talked much about either, going for third right now. He's trying to make an impression after I think he lost his team after this season. I'm not exactly sure what happened with that. I wasn't entirely clued in, but if he did lose the team, he's trying to make a good impression to get signed somewhere, and he's making a pretty good one right now.
Yeah, there's still confusion about his VNS team for next season, but he wants to race VRC, so we shall see. Ness gets walled by Mazzilli, though. That's not making a good impression. And Parker Neska is going to go from 4th to 13th place, so not a good situation there as they got together. Mazzilli's in 3rd, and Jua dropping back, actually, on the outside. He just lost a spot to the one car of Landon Lyle.
As right now, I think if I'm anybody in the field, I think if I'm Casey Masser, it's go time. I got to get moving. I got to start passing cars and making up positions because Casey Masser, I feel like, has to win this race if he wants to win this championship. And right now, he is on a downward spiral through the field as Tyler Glass and Brandon Schulenberger run away with this race up front.
That's Ryan Miniker up to third, another name we haven't been talking much about. Landon Lyle making a top 5 appearance. This ain't the BNS, but he's still trying to make a top 5 run out of some. And then we have Luca Mazzilli, Casey Masser back there. I think that's the 2 car. No. What is that? I'm not sure who that is on the inside. Oh, 35 with Kyle England. That kind of looks like the 2 worst cars for some reason.
56 laps to go here at the line. Tyler Glass is your leader. He got a second halfway bonus win of the season. As Kyle England goes through the grass, a little lawn mowing for the 35. I think he got forced down there. He's going to lose a lot of spots. He drops back to about 11th place. So a mistake there for the Dark Horse Racing 35. But they do have, I don't think anybody thought going into this race that this late, the highest running Dark Horse car would be the 12 of Ryan Miniker. But there he is, the Advanced Auto Parts Ford in 3rd place right now as they come to 55 to go as Schulenberger brings the pressure to Tyler Glass and looks to his outside.
As the 3 championship contenders are also in a nice line right there. Masser in 5th, Moore in 6th, and Jua in 7th, all in a nice little package with a bow on top. As now Masser making a move on the one car of Landon Lyle. He dives on the inside trying to get a little bit of the side draft action going on into turn 3, and it looks like Masser will execute this pass on Landon Lyle to perfection. But he's bringing
Masser's got to start putting cars between him and the 22 and the 19 if he wants any chance here. 54 laps to go. Lyle goes high. I think he's going to let the contenders all go by, and that's exactly what he does. He drops in behind Jua.
Masser looking to the second lane now. That's something we haven't seen used a whole lot tonight, and now we see exactly why as Tim Moore goes down the inside, 3 wide, 4 wide, almost there for a second. As now, down into turn 3 and 4, they are almost 4 wide, but Miniker smacks the apron, washes up, and takes Drew Jua with him. Schulenberger in the
That's
wall.
going to put Brandon Schulenberger in the wall.
What in the world? Tyler Glass now has about 3 seconds between him and the field as they all just stacked up there. Now Miniker sends Masser up the track. More cars are in the wall in the back. That's the 1 of Lyle and the 11 of Schulenberger who are hitting each other. And Miniker and Moore are side by side for 2nd place.
What in the world is Ryan Miniker doing right now? That's just my main question is, the championship guys are there. I mean, I get hitting the apron once, but I mean twice in the span of 2 laps. It's definitely a bit questionable there by Ryan Miniker. Um,
Well, I'll tell you this, his boss isn't going to complain because that just gave the 22 a lot of spots, and now he's in second. Knocked Master out of this mix for right now, and Jua's in 5th place. Master fell all the way back to 9th, and now I wonder what will happen. Will this pack all stay together with Tim, or will Tim pull away to get to Tyler Glass? Somebody's catching Tyler Glass. I just don't know if Tim's going to take anybody with him to get there.
Well, if Drew Jua can get back to Tim Moore's bumper, I think he's definitely one he's going to take with him. As far as anyone else, I could definitely see Stevens kind of watching on. You might see Parker Ness watch on if he can get clear. There's a couple good names that's kind of mired in the middle of this pack right now.
I mean, what if Casey Master gets back to Miniker?
Yeah, Miniker might get sent. He almost blocked Jua down near the apron. We're going to have 50 to go here at the line in the season. And Jua's into 3rd, 1 car through the grass. Treble Ryan Steinberg comes back up, no trouble. Nobody else hits him. But Ryan Steinberg loses some time. The 14, who's had a rough second half of the season, loses some time there.
And just like we mentioned a second ago, they already started to run down Tyra Glass, Tim Moore, Drew Jua's there, Ryan Miniker, Alex Stevens, Parker Ness, Kyle England. It's Tyler Glass going to get in the wall over it, but here comes a 22 of Tim Moore.
How much will Glass help Jua later in this race? That's going to be one of the big challenges to watch here.
He's going to help him right now. As Tyler Glass is fighting back on the inside lane, trying to get underneath Tim Moore, but he can't do it. Now that's a 1-car gap. Tyler Glass backing out of it, trying to help as much as he can. As now, both of them have teammates. As Tyler Glass just got smacked out of the way by Ryan Miniker. That's not going to make him very happy. As now it's a Dark Horse versus the lonely Spooky Dookie car of Drew Jua out front.
So they each have a teammate behind them, though. The teammate that doesn't get talked about at Spooky Dookie, Alex Stevens, is in 4th place, and of course Tim has Miniker, and Miniker has cleared out Casey Master and Tyler Glass over the last 5 laps to get Tim from 6th to 1st, so he has definitely had the 12th car working in his favor here. A lot of drivers might not like it, but that's what's happened as Miniker has been aggressive, trying to fight for a win and also trying to get his team a championship.
And a couple of angry drivers that's behind him, and they get back to him, they might eliminate said teammate if they get back to him, like Casey Master. We have a Tyra Glass who we know is very keen of getting revenge sometimes when he gets moved out of the way when he doesn't think he should have. So he's not making good friends out of the names he should be. I'll just put it that way.
What's crazy right now is now we have like a whole train with most of the field. I think 12 of the 15 are all together under a blanket, separated by less than 2 seconds. And Steinberg and Perez not too far off. England's the only one who's lost a lot of time. Now they start to fan out. It's getting crazy.
They all just shuffled Ryan Steinberg. Not Steinberg, excuse me. That was Ryan Miniker, excuse me. That's still funny to me, though. Watching all 3 of them just dive down to the apron.
And Tim Moore lost his teammate advantage there now.
Oh. Ryan Miniker gave him a shot to the back of the 24 out of turns 2. 24 Parker Ness is going to hang on to it, though, but once again, you start to see the cream rise to the top as the 48 of Caleb Buckner works his way up inside the top 5. Now he's found his way back up after being out of it for a while. And now it's going to be about the same 5% cars we saw earlier in the race with the addition of Alex Stevens in the 20 car. He's thrown his hat into the ring. Can he possibly help out the 22 of Tim Moore when it comes down to this championship fight? Or help out the 19 of Drew Jurek and get rid of the 22 of Moore?
That's the thing with Alex. I mean, most of the people that's raced with him know he's not... He tries to stay out of, like, influencing anything he can. We might see him give drafting up here and there, but he's not going to insert himself in the middle of this battle if he doesn't need to. He's just going to ride right there. He might give drafting up to the 19 if he can, but he's not going to physically insert himself in the middle of it. He'll let these two battle it out.
Yeah, but the thing I wonder about, as we get into the later stages of this race, now that the fuel saver is kind of out the window, are we going to see certain drivers push a little extra, seeing a chance to maybe win? I know they don't want to get involved in the championship battle, but it's really a rarity to get a chance to win a mile and a half in this league, because it's usually Tim, Drew, and Master who dominate them. So for someone like a Stevens or a Buckner or a Ness who aren't typically up there, would they get a little more aggressive? That's going to be a big question as we go through these last 40 laps.
Well, for someone like Buckner and Ness, they have literally nothing to lose. We know Parker Ness is going down to BNS, and Buckner, I mean, he's trying to make an impression to get a ride, but to get a ride, you have to get pretty much win races here and there. So he might try to gamble as well as he Drew doing a little bit of grass mowing as well. And Casey Masters looking for third. He's going to back out of it.
We're under caution.
Oh, we're under caution. That's why.
So caution is out here. Oh.
I think Kyle England was involved in that.
And now they're wrecking under yellow.
Catching up.
Jose Perez almost ARCA braked his teammate, Caleb Buckner, who was up in the wall. And so now pit road is going to open with, I believe, 41 laps to go. This doesn't affect the fuel strategy because nobody's saving 10 laps of gas. The closest we saw was Tim get, I think, 5 laps saved. Nobody's getting 10, so this really doesn't throw things off for now. Another caution, though, quickly could make things interesting. But third caution of the day, second for contact, but I assume everybody will pit for tires here. And in they come.
Indeed they will, and we might see him going to split this in half again instead of going to, obviously they've been pitting probably it's at like 10 laps from now. They might make it to about 20 to go-ish, just to split in half, save the tires. Especially someone like a Casey Master who might try to short pit and has the ability to short pit now since he knows he can make it on tires even with 25 to go.
So, yeah, Tim Moore made it 36 laps. If they restart here, it'll be 39 to go. So it's a little too far out of reach. If we get a pit stop between 32 and 36 laps to go, that's going to be what throws things off and brings strategy back into this. Jua wins the race off pit road. Moore is second. Then it's going to be Stevens, Schulenberger, and Nasser, as they'll be coming to lap 96, which will be 39 laps left in the season.
This is where things get interesting now, is you've got possible fuel strategy going on here with 39 laps to go. I believe the fuel run longest they've ran is about 35, 36. So can you save that extra 3 to 4-ish laps and try to stretch it to the finish?
I don't know. It's so difficult. You know, these guys can do crazy things. I mean, I don't have a shifter, so if I can save a lap of gas, it's at any track, it's like a miracle. So I can't really speak for that, but I still think it's too far out of reach.
And even if I think they could, I think this is just becoming down to the fact that they want to race it out, not fuel save it out. So even if they could, I think Drew and Tim would still pit at least once, but I think they'll definitely pit here and not going to worry about the fuel saving.
So 39 to go. Everybody fresh tires, fresh fuel. More the control car. Green flag is back in the air, and here they go. Drew Jua gets a nice restart. Buckner gets a huge jump. On the 48, he pushes Alex Stevens ahead. The 11 gets pushed out of the way by Tyler Glass. Luca Mazzilli Jr. goes wide, and now Stevens and Moore side by side for second, with Jua learning out ahead.
As now
Tim
the
Moore's
championship tires are 1, 2, 3.
So Tim Moore's going to get back to second. Casey Master's going to get back to third, just like you said. 1, 2, 3 for championship contenders. Casey Master even if he wins the race and they're second and third, he wins the race, he wouldn't get the championship in that scenario, but he could still win the race, and that'd still be an achievement in its own, especially to beat the two guys of Master and Moore. Someone hit the apron back there.
It was Buckner.
Right now.
Yeah, he was trying to make a move under Tyler Glass, slipped up. Somehow they didn't wreck there. This field actually really has to try not to wreck over these next probably 4 laps or so, because if we get a caution and pit road opens, it'll suddenly open the floodgates of fuel strategy. We've got 37 laps to go now. A caution here would put drivers like Moore and Jua in the window to make it to the end.
As one thing I definitely want to keep my eyes on here, sorry for cutting you off there, Evil, but is that Casey Master is going to have to start making moves here real soon, because right now, riding behind these top two, he will not be able to win a championship. So I think he's got to get by these two and hope that he can bring Alex to Stevens and everyone else behind him with him and put a barrier between he and the two in front of him.
And just a quick question. I mean, say you're Tim Moore, but let's exclude Casey Master here for a second. What's your plan of attack if you see the three Spooky Dookie cars in your mirror? You have Alex Stevens, Tyler Glass, and Brandon Schoenberger all right behind you. And you know Drew Jew is a Spooky Dookie car. Like, how do you even begin to approach that then?
I mean, I've also seen Tim Moore in this league before in a race at Daytona beat three guys who were teammates. It was a 3-on-1 situation. He was able to hold them off. So I don't think he's that worried no matter who is behind him. I think he's going to be able to manage this pretty well, but I think he'd hope that those guys that are 4th through 6th, those three Spooky Dookie cars, can kind of get shuffled. They have a little bit. Parker Ness has just gotten right to the bumper of the 11 of Schulenberger, so if Ness or Miniker can start making some moves, we know Buckner is fast as well. I think Tim would appreciate that with 34 to go. Something else I do want to mention to you guys too, right now, if they stay green, everybody's got to make one more stop. Do you think we could see anybody potentially split it and pit it like 18, 19 to go to try to maximize it and not have to drive at all on old tires?
I think you definitely could see that happening here, as if you're a guy like Casey Master where fuel saving is just not in your vocabulary necessarily, I think splitting it in half is perfect, because if this thing runs green and the two ahead of you do have to pit, as Drew Jua bails, he's going to definitely start saving now, I guarantee you. Looks like neither of these two want the lead. They both want to try to save fuel here. But Master, if he cuts this in half, he's golden to the end. He can try to win this championship just on running hard, because Drew Jua is falling back to save fuel as we speak.
Oh, and Glass almost washed Jua up the track. I mean, you got to be careful for your teammate that's racing for the championship. Jua's going to settle back in 3rd. That must have been a bit of a scary situation. He had two teammates on the inside that both slid up the track, as now Master backs up a little bit to try to build a run down the backstretch. We're going to be coming to 31 laps to go, which will mean it's official. Fuel saving isn't going to be an effect in this race. We could see different strategies of when people pit if this goes green, but fuel saving will not be a factor in this race with 31 laps to go, which I think a lot of this field is pretty happy about.
I think it's the best case scenario for a championship as well. We could just see them race down to the end instead of trying to fuel save it. I mean, obviously it does produce some decent, good finishes as well, but I think even Tim Moore and Drew Jua wanted to finish this out by racing and not by a fuel-saving finish.
So with 30 laps to go in the season at the line, and now Ryan Miniker made a bold move Tyler Glass up the track. Glass is going to fall all the way back to 8th, and Miniker just got by all three of the Spooky Dookie cars. So put the 12 back in position. Caleb Buckner, who we know is aggressive, is right on his heels. So this could end up not helping Drew Jua, who's now in 3rd and needs that teammate help to get past Master and get up to Moore. And both of them are going to be driving very defensively here with 29 laps to go.
Now, I hate to say it, but Ryan Miniker has two championship contenders that are threatening Tim Moore up ahead of him. Do we see a repeat of what happened earlier, where he just absolutely knocks them both out of the way to try and help Tim Moore as best as possible, or as much as possible?
Yeah, and I also wonder if he's going to try to win this race, because I think there's another card at play here, because let's say Miniker gets past them both, he's running in 2nd place. I would not be surprised if Tim Moore, if there's no danger behind, lets Miniker by to pick up his first VRC win in more than 2 years, and Moore comes home 2nd and wins the championship. So there's a lot at play, not just for the team, but for the driver and Miniker himself, if he can get past those two guys.
As we've got an absolute dogfight in the midfield here, 3-4 wide back there, allowing this group to just kind of pull away. Meanwhile, they fight behind us there, 3 wide and all the way on the outside. That is Caleb Buckner in the 40. He hits the wall, and he's going to hang on to it and fall to the back, and he'll fall to about 13th spot there.
Yeah, what I've seen from Buckner today, a little too much desperation at times, and he's got a whole lot of talent, but you can tell he is very new to this league and young as well. I think he's going to be great in the future, but right now, a lot of raw talent there at 48.
As update up front, Casey Master has successfully gotten by Tim Moore for lead. Tim Moore let him by. I don't know what exactly the strategy between Moore and Jua is, but whatever it is, it looks like they're employing it right now as they got a big gap forming.
Well, like I said earlier, even if Casey Master wins, he does not win a championship because he is not far enough ahead of Drew Jua and Tim Moore in this scenario. So they don't. That's not their biggest concern. If they run second and third, they can let Casey Master run away with this.
It's going to be 25 laps to go in what's been a fantastic VRC season. Season 8, Season 9 begins of October 1st with Daytona 250. Miniker hits the wall, comes down the track. He's spinning and slamming into the outside wall. Don't think anybody else hit him. They'll probably stay green. And now Tim's on.
That just made this race 10 times harder for Tim Moore. Now he's got no help now besides Drew Jua behind him. That's his only former friend right now in this top group.
And that's actually kind of a weird situation because that's your one championship contender, but Tim Moore knows that Drew Jua will not wreck him for anything. They race each other with a lot of respect. They race each other for a long time, and if it comes down to it, they might bump each other for it, but they won't wreck each other.
So the racing continues here. Masser, Moore, Jua. Fourth place is Schoenberger, your pole sitter, who struggled early. Parker Ness has worked his way up to sixth. Luca Mazzilli Jr. having a nice run in fifth place. As at the line here, it'll be 23 laps remaining. Now remember, these guys restarted with 39 to go. You get about 30 to 31 laps of fuel in your car here at Chicagoland. We saw someone save up to 36. That was Tim Moore and Caleb Buckner. Everybody pitted within 31 to 36 laps in our one green flag run earlier. So the fuel window, if you just ran it dry and ran it empty, would be to pit somewhere between 4 and 8 laps to go. Though I don't think that's going to be what happens. I'd be very curious to see if someone like Masser, who needs luck to win this championship, would gamble and pit here to split things. And if you were to split it, we're at 22 laps to go now. That time would come in about 3 or 4 laps to come down pit road if you really want to play the strategy.
I think another strategy we're not really opening our eyes to just yet is, what if you run long and take 2 tires? Then you have yourself a huge lead, and I think if Casey Ness were to pit early and take 4, I don't know if the undercut would work. He'd have to gain the 8 seconds that it takes to be the other side of tires and then some. So I think that right now, you might just have to run long. I feel like your bet is made, because if you take 4 now, I don't know if you can make that time up with about 20 laps to go.
Yeah, it means, tire conservation matters a lot, and the one good thing for Masser is that he's been mostly clear of the chaos. Really, all of these guys have. As they come to the stripe this time, it'll be 20 laps remaining in VRC Season 8.
These three have separated themselves just a little bit from the second pack. Schoenberger leading that. Luca Mazzilli Jr. has latched himself onto the 11's bumper as well. They're trying to catch back up to the front. As you see, Rendon Weil back there. I think that's the 24 Parker Ness and the 20 of Alex Stevens.
So 19 laps to go this time. So next lap would be the proper execution of a half and half split. This lap and next lap. So it doesn't look like there's any takers right now. I think everybody's going to try to run it to the end. And like you said, would they go track everybody really hard those last few laps and definitely put a lot of wear and tear on their Goodyears. So I think everybody would have to take at least 2 and get those right side tires. But we'll see how the strategy plays out here as we get down the stretch with 18 laps to go.
It's going to be very interesting also to see the strategy between Tim Moore and Drew Jua. We know that they might try to pit together if they both try to take 2 tires. If they... Oh, Casey Master gets the wall a little bit. Here comes...
Now losing ground as Moore takes the lead. Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah, no, you're good. Masser's going to slide in between Moore and Jua, which is exactly what Tim Moore needs. He needs a buffer between him and Jua, and that actually worked perfectly.
17 to go now. One car is in the pits. They might be done for the race, and they are. It's Kyle England who is down there at the moment, so he is out of the race. He will finish 15th in the final race of the season. They're getting a little chaotic behind the top four, side by side for 5th, Landon Lyle versus Luca Mazzilli, and they'll be coming to 16 laps to go in VRC Season 8. Tim Moore, Drew Jua, or maybe Casey Master for the championship, with pit stop to come.
And interesting enough, was you saying Kyle England done for the race, and we saw Ryan Miniker wreck early. That leaves Tim Moore with absolutely no teammates unless a caution was to come out to even get Ryan Miniker caught up.
Right now, I just want to talk about how hopeless does it feel if you're Casey Massa right now? You're basically backed into running along with these two around you. You can't really bail because they're just going to take 2 tires and naps and leave you in the dust. So right now, Casey Masters got to be feeling a little, at least a little bit hopeless there in that 8 car, knowing that he needs these two behind. He needs these guys to start losing spots, and right now, neither of them have been shuffled thus far.
Yeah, Masters' fate really depends on the rest of the field. He needs people to get around Moore and Jua. That's only coming on strategy, a wreck, or a caution. So he kind of he's run so well today, but there's really nothing he can do. 14 laps to go. They've got 25 laps of gas, so the pit window really opens for sure in the next about 5 laps or so. With 14 to go here, it's Moore, Master, Jua, 1, 2, 3. Moore and Jua tied for the championship lead. Master's 20 points back. Master needs to finish 6 spots ahead of both of them to win the championship. That's probably not going to happen at this point. He needs some chaos to happen, so it's really Moore versus Jua, who are probably on about the same strategy. We'll see if they vary up at all. And Jua is still stuck behind Master with 13 to go.
So what Matsler's going to come down to win his championship, he's going to have a caution come out, and then hopefully this chaos ensue on the restart. He's got to hope maybe both of them miss pit lane, which is highly unlikely, but we've seen it happen before with people missing pit lane. I mean, they both could end up wrecking. We saw it in real life earlier with Ty Gibbs and William Byron, how they took each other out, but I wouldn't expect that one to happen either with these two. So it's kind of, his options are very limited.
Something interesting is these guys have been checking each other. The 2 Ohio River racing cars of Landon Lyle and Parker Ness have caught the top 3 and are now right there. Ness looking for his first career VRC win. Lyle got his first 3 weeks ago at Talladega, as they'll come to 12 to go here.
As actually, technically speaking, Landon Lyle is one of the teammates that Casey Master has. The one car is owned by Harvick Fan Racing. So technically Landon Lyle is Casey Master's teammate for this race. Now I don't know if he's going to help him at all, but that is something to chew on, is that technically the 1 car and the 8 car are teammates, and maybe Landon Lyle picks up the aggressive notch just a little bit to try and help his teammate win the championship.
So it's 7 cars, 10 laps remain in the season as they come to the line. Moore, Master, Jua, Lyle, Ness, Stevens, and Schulenberger, the 7 together. Mazzilli further back in 8th. Pit road is definitely going to open soon. Lyle gets to the inside of Drew Jua. Jua had a little bit of a mistake, and he's going to fall back momentarily. Ness falls to the bottom. He's signaling the pit. I think Lyle may have as well. That might have been the reason why they were seeking the bottom. Jua's going to get back to 3rd. The pit window will open, and in comes Ness, in comes Lyle with 9 laps to go.
As now, Casey Master all over the back of Tim Moore still.
I don't think they're going to pit yet. They're going to wait for one of the other championship contenders to pit before the other 2 pit. They're not very interested in what Parker Ness and Landon Lyle do for that regard. Here comes Casey Master. That might bring in the other 2. We'll have to see. They're not going to signal this lap. We'll see if they pit next lap as a result.
I think the strategy Casey Master is to go for his 2 tires.
Kind of sticks Jua on the high side. Master pits by himself, almost slides, kind of dirt tracking his way into the pits. Mazzilli's in, Glass is in, Hudspeth is in, but now we focus back up front with 8 laps to go. everybody up here is going to have to pit. No way anybody saved 39 laps of fuel. So Moore and Jua, who's going to pit first? Jua has 2 other Toyotas with him, and Stevens and Schulenberger. Stevens has to pit here. He signals. The 11 right now staying out, as are the top 2, as they'll become the 7 laps to go in the season. Once we get to 3 to go, no more yellows. Jua and Moore stay out. Down pit road comes Stevens, and Schulenberger has come down pit road as well. So the only 2 leaders on the track are the 2 best drivers in the series, contending with 6 laps to go here.
6 to go in the season now, and it's been these top 2 all season long, Jua and Moore. And now, with coming only 6 laps to go, as neither of them have pitted yet, it's going to come down to these 2 all the way to the championship. As they come out of turn 4 now, still not pitting. 6 laps to go, side by side for the lead down the front straightaway. Here comes Drew Jua.
If Jua can get in front of him, that's going to be big. Then he controls, who's going to be coming down pit road when. So he is in front of Tim Moore. So the 19 is holding him up right now. It looks like we're at 6 to go. Jua signals. Drew Jua signals. He gets clear of Tim Moore and immediately signals to pit. Could that be the championship winning move for the 19? Will Moore follow him in? He will. And now it comes down to the artificial fake pit crews on NASCAR Heat 5. Who can give the better pit stop, Spooky Dookie or Dark Horse Racing?
What's even better is I think they're side by side, at least on my screen, or what are
they are
stuck on each other. So
one thing I'd like to notice as well is that if more than 6 cars overcut or undercut these top 2, then
they took fuel only.
They only went for fuel only. Very risky pit call here from these top 2. It's going to come all the way down to the wire, as they're already back out on track.
My
Jua taking the lead.
It's just 5 laps to go in the season. Jua's got the lead. They both took fuel only. They're in front of the pack. I don't think anybody else is really in this mix right now. Master had to take tires, so he is further back. Master actually lost time. He's back to 5th place. He got passed by Schulenberger in the cycle. Schulenberger's up to 4th place. Ness is in 3rd. 6th. Schulenberger's in 3rd. Ness 4th. And we've got 4 laps to go in the season.
And these
the only thing is save Master. If we got a very yellow now, that'd be the only thing he really could save Master, but he needed to fly basically now, because you don't get any cautions with 3 to go.
Down the backstretch. Here they come, coming to 2 laps to go, or 3 to go.
3 to go, 3 to go at the line, 3 to go at the line.
Coming to 3 to go. Tim Moore smacks the apron there just a little bit, loses a bit of time to Drew Jua. Drew Jua trying to scoot away just a little bit. Now we're down to 3 to go in the season.
Twice before, the championship has been decided in the VRC with a last lap pass. Sebastian Kukulon moved Drew Jua to win it in Season 3. Jarrett Talmadge came through and Paul Jackson and Drew Jua made contact in Season 4. So twice before it's come down to that. Drew Jua has been on the receiving end of it. And now trying to hang on and not let Tim Moore get past him with 2 laps to go in the season.
He's closed right back to the bumper.
Here he comes, taking a look on the outside lane. Here they come, 2 laps to go in the season. Here comes Tim Moore on the outside. He's going to get covered off by Drew Jua. It's getting really tight coming down to the white flag. Does Drew Jua make a mistake?
This is the battle everybody wanted. Fuel saver didn't happen. Strategy did, but it's going to be a race between these 2. No lap traffic around. No more cautions. They're going to come through 3 and 4. Tim Moore to the bumper of Drew Jua. He pulls to the outside. They're coming down. 1 lap to go in VRC Season 8. Drew Jua trying to hang on and win his 2nd championship. Tim Moore looking for his 3rd straight. They come through 1 and 2. Tim Moore's got the run on the 2nd groove. Jua's going to hang on to the lead. He's going to block him high. Jua trying to hang on. Moore's got the run to the top. He's looking. He's going to go way high. Jua through 3. Moore gets the run. Moore to the bumper of the 19. He washes up. Here they come. Jua trying to hang on. Moore crosses down. Drew Jua is going to win the Season 8 title. His 2nd VRC championship for Team Spooky Dookie.
Huge win for Drew Jua and Spooky Dookie. Absolutely magnificent battle all the way back to the line. Kudos to Tim Moore for keeping it clean. No funny business there on those final 10 laps. Hard, clean racing from the top two drivers all season long, and Drew Jua ends up winning the championship.
What a battle to the finish. And these two were going to race each other clean. Tim wasn't going to move him. He got his best run through 1 and 2 on the final lap, looked high, but couldn't get the move done. Man, and Drew Jewell was the better driver all season between these two, and he gets a much-deserved second championship. He becomes the second driver with multiple VRC titles, joining Tim Moore.
And I could really see either one get their third title next season and probably be against one another to get that third title.
Magnificent race, though. Definitely one of my favorite races I've ever had to commentate.
Tim Moore takes the fastest lap as well.
Caleb Buckner, second fastest, by the way. Shout out to him. And we'll be working on getting those guys in for their interviews, but what a moment for Drew Jua. Coming up, second fiddle to Tim these last 2 seasons, and now taking the championship.
And well-deserved. Like I said, he got his first championship before Tim Moore did. Then Tim doubled down to get 2 before Drew did. Now he's retied him and seeing if maybe he even gets 3 before Tim. And they have battles all over the place. They even have battles for who gets championships before the other ones.
So we'll be getting them for interviews momentarily. Drew probably celebrating right now. He's getting his GGs in the chat. We can go through the race results while they get them into the party. Drew Jua gets the win. It's his 7th win of the season, his most ever in a VRC campaign. Tim Moore comes up just short in second, and second in the championship. Brandon Schulenberger on the podium. He finishes 3rd, his first career podium finish in the VRC. Casey Masser gets 4th. He'll finish 3rd in the championship. Ryan Steinberg, he's still winless, but he finishes 5th. He gets a top 5. So Steinberg in 5th. Alex Stevens, who had a really good last few races of the season, gets 6th. Landon Lyle in 7th. Parker Ness closes out his VRC full-time career in 8th. Tyler Glass dropped back at the end. He gets 9th. Luca Mazzilli Jr. was 10th. Caleb Buckner 11th. Gavin Hudspeth, last McGinnis Motorsports start, he finishes 12th. Jose Perez in 13th. Ryan Inniker wrecked with about 20 to go. He gets 14th. Kyle England, a DNF, he gets 15th. And with that, it'll be about time to get some interviews.
Got 2 of them in here. I'm seeing if I can get Ryan Steinberg in here. It's not a name we usually see, and he finished in the top 5.
Let's see if he actually talks. I've only heard his voice a few times.
No, beat like Chad Eastwan.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get that one.
But you know what? In the meantime, while you're getting them in, I can talk to somebody who's here who finished 4th and had a good run and had a chance at the championship, finishes 3rd in the title race. Casey Masser, make sure to include your audio. Casey, good run tonight. You were in the battle, but came in, a little handicapped, 27 points back, got some halfway points, but Drew and Tim just too strong at the end. Evaluate this race and the season for you in that 8 car.
Race was pretty good. I knew I didn't have a chance at the championship really going in, so I was just here to have fun tonight. Hoping I could have got at least a win to finish out the season, but that just wasn't meant to be. But for the whole season, we led a lot of laps, had a lot of speed. Just fuel saving got me a lot. But we did come home with a couple wins this season, so all in all, it was a good season.
So, something else that people are wondering about, you finished your 2nd full-time VRC season. Harvick Fan Racing you drove for this year. We don't really know where Harvick Fan is right now. So at this point, for you, what's your focus heading into the off-season? So it looks like you might end up being a team owner here. So how does that kind of change your direction in the off-season as you prepare for season 9?
Well, it's instead of looking for somewhere to sign, it's going to be who do I want to sign if is the case, pretty much.
So yeah, for sure. It's an interesting situation with that team, but Casey Masser, good season, couple of wins, finishes third as best VRC standings result, and he finishes fourth tonight. Casey, congrats on a good season, and we'll see you in season 9.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a lot of people in this party to interview. So Sammy or Evil, you can take whoever's next. There's like 4 or 5 people here.
You know what? No, just because you said that, we're going to grab Tyler Glass. He had a strong race tonight. See, Glass, talk me through your night, man. What more did you need to go up there and contend for the win?
I have nothing positive to say about my race other than Chicago sucks. We shouldn't go there. So, congrats to Drew on the championship. That second half was awful, though, for me. I hate this track.
Obviously, a very unexcited Tyler Glass during his interview. Guess, Evil, you can grab one of the interviewees we have here.
I'll go ahead and grab Brandon Schoenberger. We'll save Tim and Drew for last. I think that's the best way for that. So, Mr. Brandon Schoenberger, we'll wait to get his audio.
This included.
So we saw you run up there. We saw you actually put it on pole to start the race. Then you kind of fell back. But like, what was wrong with the car at the very start of the race? But the very tight, very loose.
Definitely throughout the whole race, we were for sure really tight. As the race went on, we slowly loosened it up, but it was more so from the saving in the first half. Then it'd get really loose at the end. So not a whole lot we could have done. But then once at the end, we knew there wasn't a whole lot of saving. We really just loosened the car up and kind of go for it.
Yeah, we saw a lot of people hitting the apron. That's probably a result of being a bit too tight going into their corners, and as a result, shot them up the track. Especially with the very start of the race until they got the adjustments in they needed. But even after that, we saw you make a very great recovery. It ended up finishing, I believe, in third place. So had a very strong car. Do you think you had anything to catch or even pass the front two if you had a caution?
Even if we did have a caution, I wasn't planning on passing either of them. I mean, they're fighting for a championship, and I didn't even run full-time this year. I just joined. But, I mean, I had the best view to watch both, for sure, other than y'all commentating. So, but no, I would have never passed either one, even if we did have a caution.
That's a very, very respectful answer, especially for championship purposes. But we will probably see you next season. Like I said, you joined a couple races ago. Very strong couple debuts, and hopefully we see you next season and maybe as a couple race winner.
Thank you.
All right, well, now we get to the big interviews. Ryan Steinberg is clearly not here, so he didn't really deserve an interview for finishing 5th anyway. So let's focus on the 2 guys who actually do win races and finish 1st and 2nd in the championship. And let's go to the guy, the bridesmaid this year, the 2-time VRC champ, Tim Moore. Tim, let's just start with this. That last couple of laps, you came off pit road. Drew was in front of you. Take us through your approach those last 3-4 laps and where it came up short.
Well, I'll first start it off like this. Want to thank Paul Wolf up there in the freaking pit box for Drew's team of hearing, I guess, what I said over Discord of, oh man, this race is going to come down the pits, because he drew up the strategy of saying, hey, we're going to come down and we're going to take fuel only at the final pit stop. And while it wasn't a fuel-saving race, saving fuel had a big impact for us in that late going, because it came down to us taking as minimal fuel as we could to try to put ourselves in the best position possible. But all jokes aside, I'm just real happy the fact that we were able to be here this season. 2 championships in a row is hard to do. 3 is very hard to do. And yeah, we didn't win tonight, but God, I'm so happy. I really am so happy. to end this season like we did, and I know you whatever defeat, but the fact that Drew and I can race for a championship so cleanly, race with respect, that's why I love racing with this kid every week. And now the jokes can go away for him, and now he can put it on me of, oh, what does it feel like to finish second, all the time. He was the best driver all season long. That is simply put. He didn't just beat me. By the way, there's a lot Drew accomplished tonight, not just with the second championship. Not only does he become, and joining me as a multi-time VRC champion, he ties Tyler McDonald for the all-time wins list. He turns around as well, right? And beats what was my streak of winning at Chicagoland of 3 consecutive races. And he continues to get close. I think he needs one more top 5 to tie Tyler as well in the all-time top 5s at potentially next season at 250. All that aside, again, Drew came in here, 8 wins this season? I think he had 7, I don't even know. 7 or 8. But either way, I was outraced this whole season. And I can live with myself knowing that I was outraced and we had a damn good race for the championship. Yeah, no, you're right, T-Glass. Absolutely. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I got outraced, and I can live with that at the end of the day. I'm real proud of Drew. And again, I can live with, whatever it's, as much as I put passion and effort into this, when you get racing like that for a championship, it means so much to me because, and this is the last thing I'll say so you guys can move on, but Drew, when I first came into VRC, told me that we would never move each other for a win. We never, door each other, whatever, unless it was permitted. We've never done that. And I said, coming to the white flag, I said, you know the rules. I'll never move you for a championship, even if it means a race win. And he learned from Vegas. I backed up the corner at Vegas, tried to get underneath him, and then we had a drag race to the line. This time he learned from that, knew I was going to back it up. He backed it up, and I got to his corner panel. That's all she wrote. That's racing. You learn from your mistakes, and Drew did that, and that's the reason why he's a damn good champion. And this is going to get controversial, but now that he's tied himself with Tyler, he's put himself in the same platform as more championships. I'm gonna say the GOAT debate's a little bit debatable now. I really do think Drew may be the greatest of all time in OMA. No offense to Tyler, but I think after tonight he deserves to be in the conversation fully.
I mean, it's a fair point. We're not going to get into the debate right now because right now we're just celebrating the championship. But yeah, Drew Jua had a fantastic season, 7 wins. He outlasts Tim Moore. So Tim, I'll finish with you with this before one of the others grabs Drew for the championship interview. But at this point now, focusing into the off season, now you're going to be trying to bounce back. Yeah, you had a great season, but Kyle England did struggle a bit this year. Ryan Mineker, now he didn't race all, he's trying to line it up so his 100th start will be the Daytona 250, but he struggled a bit during the season. What is the approach for Dark Horse Racing heading into the offseason and heading into the next season for you personally to try to get back on top, and then for your other drivers to kind of pick it up? And, Drew had a great driver right there in Tyler Glass, who was a contender, especially late in the season. How can you kind of try to build the rest of the team to get up there? Yes, I know you're a free agent. I'm talking about this season.
Bozo moved my sub out the way, and cost me a points lead coming into this race, so I'll remember that, T-Glass. But, all jokes aside again, I think that we need to focus on finding consistency. England had a down year, but listen, stuff happens. You have to learn through your failures. And, again, for Ryan, my big thing coming this season is I just wanted him to have fun, and then we're going to focus on the big things after this season. Ryan's a long-term plan for us. And honestly, again, I know we didn't win a team championship either. Drew also won that. I think, 4 years in a row, something like that. I don't know. He's won a lot of team championships consecutively. But, I'm not here to win championships great individually, but I'm not here to win championships. I'm here to put together a good group of guys that I can trust being on the racetrack, trust they're not going to be weapons and be good individuals. And I'm proud of England. I know he missed a little bit from going on vacation, but I'm proud of what he was able to do this season, and I love Ryan Mineker. I mean, I can't say enough positive things. I know the results may not show all the time, but he's a damn good driver, and he just needs to learn. And I'll say a lot of guys there that I'll be looking at this offseason. Of course, James Mendez, who was in our VNS program, is going to be a guy we're going to be looking at. Shocks is a damn damn good driver too. Wherever he's going to land, I don't know if it's going to be with us, but he's going to be one of the bigger free agents, just like Tyler will be in the offseason. And also Luca. I think Luca has a lot of potential to learn. I think he was put in a bad system, for his rookie year. And if he gets with the right team, rather if that's with us or with someone else, and he's not the only one we're looking at, but it's guys like that there's so much potential and you can see it. It's a matter of grasping it. So I'm not saying ever our fourth spot's going to be focused on a developmental driver, but if it does mean that, I'm going to work my hardest to make sure these guys are getting the most they can, even with all the changes next season, because there's going to be a lot of learning next season for all of us. But I'm excited for it, and I hope that we can walk home a 3-time champion next season. But at the end of the day, I just look at tonight, and I'm so damn proud of everything that we've put together, not just as a league, but the fact that we can have a race for a championship second year in a row with a tie going in is pretty dang cool, because the odds of that are minimal to none.
All right, well, Tim Moore, congrats on second in the race, second in the championship, and now let's turn it to your VRC Season 8 champion, Drew Jua.
As we wind down the night, the man hoisting the trophy at the end of the day is Drew Jua. Drew, talk me through your night, man, and just how special it feels to be a 2-time VRC champion.
Yeah, it feels great, man. I mean, I knew what we had to do there was we were going to have to take no tires and hope we could hold off Tim there. And like he said, I mean, I knew what he was going to do. I knew he was going to back up the corner. So I really just had to hold that bottom and make sure I go the shortest way around. And I most likely had it won. It was a great battle all night. Yeah, I have no words. I mean, my VRC career has been, I just come short so many times. Like that one VRC championship with Tyler, I deserve that one, and I'll take that 100%. But the one with Sevi getting set in the final, going into 3 and 4 on the final lap, season after with Tyler, he hit me up he got loose and we both wrecked and ended up losing that one. Won the next one. Then Tim just outdueled me those 2 seasons, and it's nice to finally get one back, honestly. I mean, one of my biggest accomplishments this season was I raced, I believe, 14 races, and my worst finish this season was 4th. I have 13 top 3s in 14 races, and I feel like I really deserve this one. I was there every single week. I don't think we led the most laps. It's kind of hard to lead the most laps with the strategies you have to run here, but it was fun battling people like Casey, Tim, T-Glass, Alex, Brandon at the end, Stein, all those people. I mean, we had great battles all season. Parker, Riley at times, but it's pretty surreal. Tying Tyler, with the VRC wins, and we'll try and defend, but yeah.
And I heard something that Tim Moore said in his interview. He brought up this honor system between you two that you have across most leagues, where you two vow not to make contact with each other in the final laps of the race, no matter what. Can you just kind of talk me through that a little bit in your relationship with Tim and how you guys have grown as friends over the years?
Yeah, of course. I mean, me and Tim met each other through eSpark and, OMA. Eddie brought him in, and he was definitely one of the fastest people I've ever raced with. It took about a year to really understand how to get better at this game and learn a lot more. Like, I felt like I was really fast OMA standards, but then you bring me into other leagues like eSpark, RHRL, SXRL, and you think you're fast in one league, and then you're bottom half in that. So he's taught me a lot. He's I wouldn't say he brought the mentor role, but he's taught me a lot of things. I still learn things to this day. Maybe not on NASCAR Heat 5 because there's not a lot to learn anymore, but as he said, we have this honor system where we'll never wreck each other. I I think the only time I ever cashed in on that was at Richmond. I don't know if it was last season, earlier this season, where I kind of sent it towards him when he was saving. But I have always raced him as clean as I can. I respect almost everybody in this league, but it's nothing compared to how me and Tim race. I don't think we ever really make contact unless it's jokingly or dooring each other for the win. But we don't do that. So it's definitely nice to have a teammate who's not a teammate in that sense, I guess. But yeah.
And one last thing before I let you go here, is there anybody you want to thank for this strong season and just overall strong career in OMA?
Yeah, of course. I want to thank first you guys in the broadcast booth, you, Evil, Eddie, Fisher. We had some other people, I'm forgetting their names, who come out and broadcast these races every single week. We really all appreciate it from the admin team, mod team. But want to shout out to my drivers, T-Glass, Brandon at the end, Alex, Boog at the beginning of the season, Fabico, Patrick. I mean, we definitely can improve in the VNS program. I think we can improve there, but it was a very, very great season. I mean, winning the team championship by about 50, almost a whole race probably now. I want to also thank Brandon for joining pretty late, but he always races clean, and I think he's going to be someone to watch out next season, whoever he lands with. And want to thank Tim for always racing me clean and telling me setups when I don't actually remember what the setup is for a track. Want to thank T-Glass for giving me the strategy that honestly won me this championship. I was kind of debating what I was going to do tonight and how I was going to win the championship, especially with those upcoming pit stops. I think it was more of a joint